Our two favorite radio triggers. That's what this video is all about. Now let me give you guys a quick, guys and gals, let me give you all a quick note on our recommendations. We do not recommend products that we simply get for free. I know a lot of you think that, but we don't do that. Reason being is that we've gotten tons of products for free that don't work. They're very crappy products and we don't want to stand behind anything that isn't good. Instead, what we do is we buy all of our equipment first. We buy and we use what we want to use and what works well. And as we've tested things over time, then we get in touch with the manufacturer and we tell them that we want to support that product. So that is the way that we work. So anything that we recommend, we wholeheartedly are standing behind. That's why when it comes with, 4 other flash options that are honorable mentions that will work, we tell you there are going to be certain issues with them. Likewise, when it comes to this stuff, our two favorite radio triggers, we tell you we use PocketWizard because we've used tons of radio trigger systems and they come with consistency issues and reliability issues, and it's a hassle on set when you're shooting and things aren't working right, and it really throws you out of your rhythm. PocketWizard is the only brand that we've used that has worked consistently, and that's why we recommend it. So we just want you to understand that everything that we recommend is based upon our shoots. We take things on heavy and extensive shoots before we are willing to stand behind it. All right, now let's talk about these two radio triggers. So one other quick note is that when you're buying inexpensive flash systems, like say the Yongnuo and the Newers, I would highly recommend just sticking with the factory wireless controllers for those, because generally they're designed to work pretty well. The factory wireless controller is going to work pretty well with that unit, whereas a third-party control is going to be more expensive. And if it's more expensive, it's kind of like, why are you going that option in the first place? And it might not work as reliably. Okay, so just keep that in mind. When it comes to flashes like the LumenPro LP180, when it comes to the Bolt VB22 and other manual strobes that we want to control reliably, we look to PocketWizards. We have two options on the PocketWizard side. One is the PocketWizard Plus X for $100. One is the PocketWizard Plus 3 for $150. Now both of these are fantastic options. They're both just as reliable as each other. They're both just as consistent, have the same range. They do the exact same thing. These are both manual triggers, which means that they don't send information for power or for zoom or for anything else. They don't do TTL, they don't do rear curtain sync. Any of that stuff is not done. All that these do is just simply send a signal to fire a flash, and that's it. But this one is a little bit cheaper. Why is that? Well, it's a little bit more simple of a unit, okay? So basically what they've done with the Plus X is they've given it, first of all, a cooler name, because frankly, Plus X sounds like it's like Plus Extreme. And I would love to say that like on my shoots. Give me the PocketWizard Plus Extreme, yo. I don't know if it's actually the Extreme, but I think that's what it stands for. Personally, that's what I make it stand for. Anyway, they simplified it, so they took away the channel grouping to it. Okay, so over here, I'm sorry, not the channel grouping, they took away the grouping functionality. So they kept channels, but they took away the grouping functionality where this guy has grouping. And they also took away the number of channels. So they just made it a little more simple. It doesn't have all of the features that this guy does, but they charge $50 less for it. Now, if you need to buy 4 or 5 of these units, that $50 can add up. So it's $100 to $250 saving over the course of several units. But it's very simple. It has 10 channels built in. It has a simple test button. It's just pop it out, plug it in, and turn it on, and it's gonna work. It's just very reliable and super simple to use. The only con is that, again, it lacks grouping, and both of these are manual flash power controls, so that's not really a con of either one specifically. It's just both of them are only manual control. And this still cost $100, so it's not necessarily as cheap as just other third-party radio options, but you know what? For the reliability and simplicity of what it is, it's a value still, even at that price. Now the Plus 3. The Plus 3, we have 32 channels, so we have 3 times the amount of channels, and by the way, both these options will work with legacy PocketWizard items. So if you have legacy PocketWizards with the old 4-channel systems or 1-channel systems and so forth, these still work in conjunction with those. This guy has 32 channels. Both of them have the same range. They can go up to 1,500 feet or 500 meters, which is generally far more than you actually need, unless you're shooting in a big arena. This one also has 16 grouping channels, which is basically channels 17 through 32. Those are grouping channels. Channels 1 through 16 are what are referred to as legacy channels, meaning that you can use them to control legacy PocketWizards and do that channeling and so forth, but you can't control groups when you're on channel 1 to 16. You can only control groups from 17 to 32. It offers to you 4 different groups, which means this. I can put, and this is our typical reception setup, okay? I have four corners of the room, I place, if I'm facing the front of the room, I go left side is going to be A, right side is B, back right is C, and back left is D. Okay, so A, B, C, D. They're all on channel 17, and then A, B, C, D. So now, using my Pocket Wizard, I can just press A when I want to use only A, or I can add B when I want to use A and B, or I can press A, B, C and use all three in conjunction, or I can turn around, turn off A, B, C, and only use D. All of them can be triggered directly from my system, my handheld system with my handheld Pocket Wizard right there, and I can turn on and off I can basically use any one or any grouping that I choose to, whether it's 2 of the flashes, 1 of the flashes, or 4 of the flashes, or whatever I like. So it's fantastic because I'm constantly turning and using these different flashes in different positions for backlights in my shots. So that is kind of just a practical usage of groupings, which is very, very handy. Remember that even with grouping, you can only basically turn on and off the functionality. Again, we still don't have power control or anything like that. They're still fully manual systems. They only send the signal to fire or not fire. Okay, along with this comes also different triggering modes. So for example, I can have this be a transceiver or TX-RX. I can turn it on to receive only, to transmit only. I can have it be an extender, so it can extend the range of the Pocket Wizard Plus 3 if I put one in between a long distance. The Plus X doesn't do those things. These are advanced features that come only with the Plus 3. Okay, so the main con to this system is just that it's $150 a piece, and it's going to be a little bit more complicated, but again, it's still an extremely simple user interface, everybody. Once you understand radios, it doesn't matter if you're using a Photix Odin, or you're using a Pocket Wizard, or you're using any other third-party system, they all operate the exact same way. They have channels. Channels allow those different receivers to communicate with each other. Anything on the same channel will communicate with one another. And then they have groups where, yes, you can communicate, everything in that same channel is communicating, but you're turning on and off specific groups within that channel. So that's how they all work. They all work identically regardless of the brand and the make. Pocket Wizard makes theirs incredibly simple to use. The user interfaces are absolutely fantastic. They're phenomenal. Actually, among radio triggers, they are the best user interfaces that I've seen. Okay, so they're very simple and great. So that is our 2 favorite radio triggers. We use Pocket Wizard when it comes to all third-party triggering. Otherwise, we're using factory systems like with the Photix Mitros Plus, which is kind of our go-to flash. That's it for this video. Let's head on to the next one now.